In the heart of the city, amidst the towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, lived a woman named Sarah. To most, she was invisible, a silhouette against the cold brick walls she called home. Her world was a monochrome sketch of survival, each day a battle against hunger and the biting wind. She once had dreams, a life filled with color and laughter. But a series of misfortunes had washed it all away, leaving her with nothing but the clothes on her back and a resilient spirit. One frigid evening, as Sarah huddled in her usual alleyway, the acrid smell of smoke pierced the air, her eyes shot open. Ash! Across the street, angry orange flames licked at the windows of an old apartment building. Screams echoed, a symphony of panic and fear. Ah, da, da, da. Without a second thought, Sarah was on her feet, her own struggles forgotten. She sprinted towards the chaos, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. People were fleeing, their faces masks of terror. But Sarah ran towards the danger. A desperate cry from a third-floor window caught her attention. A woman, her face streaked with soot and tears, was screaming, "My baby. My son is still in there." The words struck Sarah like a physical blow. She saw a small silhouette in the window of the adjacent room, a child trapped by the inferno. Firefighters were still minutes away. Time was running out. Adrenaline surged through her veins. Sarah spotted a rickety fire escape. It was her only chance. She began to climb, the metal groaning under her weight, hot to the touch. Smoke billowed around her, stinging her eyes and choking her lungs. Each rung was a monumental effort, a testament to her sheer will. She reached the third-floor window, shattered the glass with a piece of loose brick, and hoisted herself inside. The heat was unbearable, a living, breathing monster. She crawled on the floor beneath the thickest smoke, calling out for the boy. A faint whimper guided her to a small bedroom. There, huddled under a bed, was a little boy, no older than 5, clutching a teddy bear.
Ah!
"It's okay," Sarah coughed, her voice raspy. "I'm here to get you out." She scooped him into her arms, wrapping him in a blanket she'd torn from the bed. He was surprisingly light. She retraced her steps, the boy's small arms clinging tightly around her neck. The journey back to the window felt like an eternity. The fire was growing, consuming everything in its path. She carefully passed the boy through the broken window and onto the fire escape, shielding him with her own body. Then she began the perilous descent, step by agonizing step. Just as they reached the bottom, a section of the building collapsed in a shower of sparks and embers. They were safe. She handed the boy to his sobbing mother, who enveloped them both in a desperate, grateful hug. Then, as the paramedics and firefighters took over, Sarah slipped back into the shadows, her heroic act unseen by the gathering news crews. She was just a homeless woman after all. Who would care? The next day, the story of the mystery angel was everywhere. The news hailed the anonymous hero who had saved the little boy, Lucas, but no one knew who she was. Sarah, nursing her minor burns with a stolen bottle of water, saw her own grainy image on a TV in a shop window. She was a hero, but she was still homeless, still hungry. Meanwhile, in a lavish corner office overlooking the city, a man named Julian Croft watched the news report with rapt attention. Julian was a self-made millionaire, the CEO of a massive tech corporation. But he was also the man who had lost his own wife and daughter in a similar fire years ago, a tragedy that had haunted him ever since. He had built his empire from the ashes of his grief, but no amount of success could fill the void in his heart. Seeing the story of the rescued boy and the anonymous hero stirred something deep within him. He saw a chance not just to reward a brave soul, but to honor the memory of his family. He felt an inexplicable pull, a need to find this woman. He instructed his top security chief, "Find her. Use every resource we have. I want to meet the woman who did what no one could do for my family." The search began. It wasn't easy. Sarah was a ghost in the system, with no address, no phone, no digital footprint. His team combed through security footage from the area, cross-referencing it with shelter records and talking to people on the streets. For days, they found nothing. Julian grew more determined with each passing hour. Finally, a breakthrough. A small convenience store owner recognized Sarah's face from the footage. "Yeah, she comes by sometimes," he said. "Never asks for a handout, just picks up cans. Quiet one. Usually sleeps in the alley behind the old bookstore." Julian didn't send his team. He went himself, dressed in a simple coat and jeans. He drove his unassuming car to the location. He found the alley, a grim, forgotten corner of his shining city. And there she was. Sarah was huddled under a threadbare blanket, her face pale, her body shivering slightly from the cold and the lingering effects of smoke inhalation. She looked up as he approached, her eyes wary. "Are you the woman who saved the boy from the fire?" Julian asked gently, his voice soft. Sarah's first instinct was to deny it, to retreat into her invisibility. She expected trouble, or perhaps pity, which was worse. I don't know what you're talking about," she stammered. Julian knelt down, keeping a respectful distance. "My name is Julian Croft. I saw what you did on the news. It was the bravest thing I've ever seen." He then told her his own story, the fire, the loss of his wife and daughter. His voice was thick with an old, familiar pain. He wasn't a powerful CEO in that moment. He was just a man, sharing his deepest wound. Sarah listened, her defenses slowly melting away. For the first time in years, someone was seeing her not as a statistic or a nuisance, but as a person. She saw the genuine pain in his eyes and recognized a fellow soul marked by loss. "I'm sorry for your family," she said, her voice barely a whisper. Julian offered her his hand. "Let me help you," he said. "You saved a life. You deserve more than this. This isn't charity. It's a thank you. From me, and from a world that needs more people like you." Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes as she took his hand. It was warm and steady. Julian didn't just give her money. He gave her a home, a small, comfortable apartment where she could feel safe. "I hired tutors to help her get her GED, which she had never finished. He gave her a job in one of his company's community outreach programs, where her empathy and resilience became her greatest assets." Sarah's life was transformed. The colors came back, brighter and more vibrant than before. She excelled in her new role, helping others who were struggling just as she had been. She became a beacon of hope in the community. One day, Julian took her to a park. They sat on a bench, watching children play. "You know," Julian said, a smile playing on his lips, "you didn't just save that little boy's life, Sarah. You saved mine too." She reminded me that even after the deepest loss, there is still good in the world. There is still hope. Sarah smiled back, her heart full. She was no longer the invisible woman in the alley. She was Sarah, a survivor, a hero, a friend. Her single act of courage had not only changed her own destiny, but it also healed the broken heart of a millionaire, proving that the greatest wealth isn't found in a bank account, but in the courage and compassion we show to one another. Her journey was a powerful reminder that a single spark of kindness can reignite a life and illuminate the darkest of paths. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires. Remember, a single act of kindness can change a life.